Hi, I'm Honey Mahogany. I'm a founding queen of Drag Queen Story Hour and a RuPaul's Drag Race alum, and I'm here with Blavity to discuss anti-drag legislation. Currently, there are several different drag bans happening in several different states. I mean, Tennessee was a really big one. Florida is another. They're talking about drag bans in Texas as well, other states as well. I mean, it's a bit overwhelming. There have been almost 500 pieces of legislation that have been introduced in this last legislative cycle. That is really, really remarkable. It's more than has ever been introduced before, and it is absolutely an onslaught and an attack on our rights. And thankfully, in some places, we have judges who are finding that these laws are actually unconstitutional, and they are pushing back. And they're unconstitutional for a variety of reasons. One, they infringe upon our basic human rights. The other is that oftentimes they are overly broad. And also, when you are legislating things that can possibly infringe on people's rights, you have to provide a valid reason as to why you're doing that. And of course, none of these laws, as much as Republicans love to talk about how they are doing this to protect the children, none of them have any basis in reality, science, or evidence. And so they are unable to justify any of these laws that are being passed. Unfortunately, it is up to a judge's discretion. But the good news is the system is working, and that these these laws are being challenged, and that we do have some good judges who are actually looking at this. And even though some of them have been appointed by, for example, President Trump, who and are potentially conservative, they are realizing that these laws are really unconstitutional, and that it is their job to say so. So that has been really, really comforting to see, though I will say that this hasn't always been the case for every law, and so I am really worried about what is happening in Florida right now. It is really, really scary to see the way in which Ron DeSantis is really basing his entire presidential campaign on his ability to discriminate against the LGBTQ community. I think for me, I actually started doing Drag Queen Story Hour because I actually had friends that would say, you're the kind of drag queen that I can bring home to mom. And to be clear, I think drag is an art form. And like any other art form, drag can be all across the spectrum in terms of, its appropriateness for children. It can be definitely drag performances that are more geared towards an adult audience. It can also be a drag performance that is geared towards a young audience or an audience of children. We can make that distinction. We do it all the time, whether it be for books or films or shows or whatever. And, for me, drag is a part of who I am, and drag is also a performance. And like any other character, actor, performer, it can be larger than life. And oftentimes that is what appeals to children, right? We are trying to make drag queens out to be predators or, using the word groomers. That is absolutely not the case. The way in which people can create a more affirming and positive society for transgender people, for all of our communities, is to get engaged in local politics. People love to show up for a presidential election, but it is your statewide elections, your city council votes, your county elections. Those are the ones that will have direct impact on your day-to-day lives. Everything from whether or not your streets are getting paved to whether people are being denied access to healthcare, whether people are allowed to open up a business. I mean, these elections are incredibly important, and that is why certain people are investing so much in preventing people from being able to vote. So the most important thing we can do is, again, get to the voting booths, educate ourselves on the issues, and also encouraging young people to vote. Pride is definitely an opportunity for drag to happen. Many people will do drag for the first time during Pride. It's either Halloween or Pride, but one of the two gay high holidays. I think that Pride is also definitely an opportunity for drag queens to make some money. So hopefully, all the people who are throwing pride parties, whether you be community organizations or corporate, parties. That's how a lot of our community makes money right now. So make sure that you are supporting the drag community, that you are booking drag performers, that you're not cowing to, anti-drag laws and, to extremists on the right, that you are taking a stand and making sure that our drag community and our trans community is feeling supported.